Hello again, everybody. It's Harry Buxer, the technical trader at thetechtrader.com. It's Tuesday, turnaround Tuesday, the 17th of May. Turnaround because we really had an ugly sell-off today, and we got right at key support before a late bounce. But I got to tell you that if we break here, it's not going to be pretty going forward. Are we getting oversold? Not yet. We're, I think, minus about 100 or something, so we're getting there. But we may have another few. If we crack, you'll see a very, very quick, sharp downward move that gets us pretty oversold. But with today's minus 1322 reading, I thought we had a decent chance of a bounce, and we did, but it wasn't very powerful. Let's take a look at some of the things that dominated today on the long side, and we're going to show you some shorts too. Gold, oil, etc. still pushing it, but momentum may be waning. Although the gold stocks still are very resilient in here. ABX, for example, my favorite junior gold right now, or my favorite major gold that's cheap. After breaking out of the base and running up, formed a wedge. That was a beautiful sign that it was going higher. Broke out, flagged, or wedge again, popped and wedged again. Yet again today, up another 2.4%. But it just feels like maybe it's a little long in the tooth, having gone from 6 to nearly 20. Look, long term, there's some big resistance overhead, up in that 21.5 range, so we may get a little further push. But I think gold is due for a pullback in this zone a little higher than here. AG is another one. You can see how it broke out and ran up another 85 cents or 7.5% on 10 million today. Darn good volume, great OBV. Looking at the long-term chart, we're up against a resistance zone as well. So this is what I mean from a long-term standpoint. With a move that far, that fast, that vertical, yes, and with multiple waves, this could be the end of the fifth wave. Yes, it could last a little longer, but I think sometime the next, if we get, for example, a sell-off in the market over the next 3-4 days, and you get a quick spike up on gold and silver, I mean a sharp blow-off type top, then I urge everyone to move aside on these, at least short-term. AKRX, but some biotechs did really well today. I was quite surprised to see how well they acted, but we're coming up to ASCO and some other of the conferences that may yield some positive news. AKRX, you can see it had come down from a double top at a 57 range, formed like an inverse head and shoulder, and then pulled back. Spiked up, little consolidation. Today popped 7.5% on 5.6 million and broke across the neckline of what looks like a potential head and shoulder bottom. So maybe we run up and test 32 short term, maybe even make it up to the high 30s secondary target. 7 days to cover could help here. CC, well, with 3.15 days to cover, CC's in an ascending wedge, jumping another 40 cents or 4% today. You can see how that is right at some key resistance, but the feeling is if the gold, silver, metals, and chemicals and some of those stocks, the basic material stocks, continue to push, this could accelerate. We have 1, 2, 3, and 4. We could get a fifth wave. I'm not sure we're going to get past 12, 12.5, but that would be my target. CNX in the oil sector, one of our swing trades, has done great. After the breakout of the base, the wedge, it popped here, tested, and popped again, got the resistance. It's in a beautiful flag. If there is another move up, and we got to be careful about oil at these levels, notice that a lot of the gold and oil, well, particularly the oil stocks with oil up today over 49, really didn't carry forward that much. We had CWEI, of course, but CNX, RRC, and a few others that didn't do as well. Although this was up 44 cents, that was just 3% and remains in the consolidation. Now, should it get back out above 1565 or so, we could see it get to 16 and even 18 or 19 on a blow off if we get one. 6.5 days to cover on that one. Beautiful rising channel. CPXX, a nice pop, 1402 to 1548, backed off, closed only a dime off the high, $1.22 higher, 8.6% today, and 2.6 million. Picking it up, OBV holding up great. If it can come out of this consolidation, this could have one hell of a move. First in mid-channel 2021, and then I'm looking at high 20s potentially. And there's CWEI with almost a perfect textbook inverse head and shoulders with a platform, moving averages crossing over. Explosive move just in the last 5 sessions, taking it from 15 to 28.5. Big move. Now, is it extended? Yes, but there may be a little bit more momentum on this to 32, 33, and then maybe we look for a pullback. ETE is another junior oil or oil stock that has had a big drop from the mid-30s down to the 3 range. Then it popped, wedged. Here's the key breakout right there. Nice run up through the declining tops line and a beautiful bull coil. Now it's a little close to the top of the channel and next resistance in the 15-16 range, but I wouldn't be shocked to see that occur to finish this one off short term. It appears to me that the double bottom up here would be an important resistance level around 18. JNUG and Nugget, both of these acting well, and they broke out of the wedges today. Not with a huge move, although this was up 15 points nearly, or 9%. We could see the stock at 230-40 range before it's over on a big blow off. Nugget, kind of similar, could run up to 150. 140-50 range is my next target. Junior Oil Legacy. Well, after a massive drop that saw it drop literally in a year and a half from 32.5 to under $1, it inverse head and shouldered. It broke out with massive volume here, pulled back and bounced, and then backed again, and it got real quiet in this area. See how low the volume is? OBV is holding up great. It's a beautiful wedge pattern. When one looks at this, the inclination would be for another leg up that explodes this, literally up to 6-7 range. Now, I'm not saying it's going from 2 3/4 to 6-7, but I would look at least for a next run up retest of 4, and then we'll see if it goes beyond that. You need volume if it does. New swing trade. Well, let me just make a comment on MGT. I've been around a lot of years, folks. I've seen a lot of blow-ups, a lot of massive move-ups. There's a possibility we can see still 7.5 in the stock, but it's been up for 17 of the last 18 days with 109 million shares traded today and 20 million shares outstanding with 15 million floating or something like that. It turned over 6-7 times its float in one day. I think that's blow-off time. I don't care what the story is. I don't care what the fundamentals are. To go from 1/4 to 5 or 20-fold in a couple weeks is insane. Too far, too fast. Yes, it may have a little more momentum, but anybody who gets in the way of this one would be a fool. Must stop this under 3 1/4. Absolutely, no matter what, under today's low, in my opinion. MyTech. Really nice. They signed another major client today. Stock popped to 938. Now this stock having come from October of 2015 from under 2, it's now almost 5-fold. And in a short-term basis, breaking out of the base, it's had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So for me, even though it may extend to 11 or 12, the all-time high being 1330 up here, way back in there, double top. I'm not so sure we're going to make it up there before we pull back and consolidate, but nevertheless, looking very good. Silica, a swing trade, acting great. Another 60 cents, 2 1/4%, not a lot. It backed off the high of 27.67, close 27.08. But with 4 3/4 days to cover and a move through this resistance line, my next target has to be 29 1/4 half area. Then we'll see if it extends beyond that. But a beautiful base and a nice rising channel with 4 3/4 days to cover. I think this one extends, again, depending on the market. I haven't looked at silver, but silver Wheaton, the one outstanding stock for me, was up another 71 cents at 3.5%. After spiking up and pulling back to the bottom of the channel, it's moving back up. So your resistance is about 21, followed by potentially a target of 24. If we do get a 5th wave blow off, this would be 1 and 2, 3 and 4. 5th wave could take you up there. Again, gold, silver, oil appear to be long in the tooth, but not quite finished yet. So should we get a market decline and money goes into these stocks, we may very well see them get a blow off and then market get a sell off and a spike down. SM, well, don't talk about it too often, but SM Energy, huge move off the lows from 7 and change to 30 and change. 33 from 7 and change. 4 times your money at 300% in 2 months. Too far, too fast? I would say so. Let's look at this 1, 2, 3, and 4 waves as potentially still ahead of us. More may be coming, but keep your stops underneath 27. Southwest Energy is another just to keep an eye on. Base breakout wedge. Doesn't look finished yet, does it? Targets at 1390 and 17. Taser. Well, when we gave it to you after it popped and pulled back and started to move here, the mistake I made, there wasn't enough volume. Today's volume was solid at 2.6 million, And after breaking out 4 days ago and flagging for 3 days, you can see it extended. I'm now looking for a move to test 24 and then 26 and a half. 12 days to cover. This could be ready. And our favorite oil is TRGP. It's been a monster. Double bottom breakout, coil pop flag. 1, 2, 3, 4. This fifth wave's underway. Looking for 48.50 before we get a blow off. Let's not forget, it's come from under 15. 14 and a half to 44 3/4. More than tripled. VUSI, now up for 5 days in a row. Picking up a little bit of volume, not as much as I want to see, but I think that comes when the stock blows off to 6 3/4, 7 and a half and more. That's coming in the next couple, 3 weeks, in my opinion. Last is Williams Brothers. Long decline from the mid-60s all the way down to under 10. A big spike up platform. Looks like an inverse head and shoulders type pattern or basing pattern. Today, the stock popped, got up through resistance to the declining tops line. It was up about 92 cents or 4.5% on 12 million. Good volume. Looking for a follow-through that takes this one up near 26, 6.5. That's on the long side today. Let's take a look at some shorts. Athena Health. Well, after it finally got smacked down, it's now formed a bear flag. That's as bearish as it gets, in my opinion. Terrible technicals. Looks lower to me. A break of 126.5, 7, and we're headed down to 112.15 range, and maybe much lower. 21 days to cover. They may be right. Baby Natus with a big crack of the major uptrend and a large wedge. We showed you that several weeks ago. And then the crack in a wedge. This looks to me like it's going lower. 1, 2, 3, and 4. The fifth wave could take you all the way down into the low to mid-20s. Stay tuned. CERN, been rolling over. They've been in a downtrend for a year now. And yet, today's drop of $1.26 or 2.3% has it right on support. Any break at this level, and we could be headed down to a quick test of 50. And maybe the channel bottom comes into play near 46. EGRX. Well, this biotech's in trouble, I think. Double top, breakdown wedge, another breakdown below the key support level with a breakaway gap. And then this what looks like a bear flag. If it breaks from here, we could see a run down to 34 quickly, and then a quick drop into the mid-high 20s. HAR, well, after I've talked about this for weeks, we had a 5-wave decline, a bear flag. Another 5-wave decline, a rising bear wedge. And then we're falling again. It stalled in here to form a little bear coil, see it? I'm looking for a test of 67, then a drop down into the high 50s. HIBB, breaking a big wedge in the last couple days, appears to have more downside potential. Looking for a retest of 28 and then a drop into the 24 range. IRMD. The top was broken here, a rising bear wedge, and now another one. 1, 2, 3, 4. If we get a fifth wave and it takes out 14, look out for $10. LB. Well, this one really worked out well for us. We put a swing short on it, formed a bear wedge, it broke down, got creamed. It's now dropped about 18 points straight down, and it's near support, or should I say, an exhaustion level where I would probably cover it and wait for some kind of consolidation, but it looks awfully weak. Popeye's Louisiana Kitchen, I showed you that bear flag a week ago. Well, that's been broken. And now it's right on the neckline of this massive top, which if broken, should lead to a quick 46. RCL, wouldn't be surprised if this one fell apart at some point, but it's got to take out last week's low of 72.45. When that occurs, I'm looking for about 64.5. And then look out below, possibly even down in the low to mid 50s. And folks, that's the long and short of it tonight. It's not a pretty picture. This is HP signing off. Talk to you in the room tomorrow.